Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is dangers of AI, or artificial intelligence, that I think is actually alien intelligence. Now, let me explain. Leslie and I are going to Honduras for a couple of weeks, and while I'm out, we are having to make some other fill-in-the-blank programs, and this is one of them. This is from a talk I did at our PhD conference, our Prophecy, Healing, and Deliverance conference a couple of months ago, and we're going to make several programs out of this. Title is Dangers of AI. Now, I encourage you to watch the whole thing because I didn't understand AI, and I'm going to guess you probably don't either until I researched it, and what I found was beyond scary. And I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, there's AI. We're being sold. We're being sold a bill of goods. AI is good. It is not. It is going to turn out to be the image of the beast system, so that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So this is one of several introductions. Some of the things I'm going to cover in Dangers of IR is AI is actually already here. No one is going to be able to avoid it. And I talked to you about how to get out and when to get out of it. It will require surrender of your biometrics, your eye scan, your voice, your fingerprint, your face print, all of it to get into it. And to get into it, you get a big pile of money if you get into it. And if you don't get into it, you don't get any money. It's going to require all of this. It'll be forced to be joined. You'll be forced to be joined before the mark is introduced, I believe. And then the mark of the beast will be implemented. So there'll be a brief time when it's implemented that you can get in. And then, of course, when the mark is implemented, we'll recognize that and we'll get out of it real quick, okay? Approximately 6 months after it goes live, you should have your wealth out and transferred into gold, silver, land, or we'll also say Israeli oil wells. I'm going to talk about how this proves the mark of the beast is scary close. I think you'll find it very interesting. So this is going to be the opener for several programs. I think you'll find it interesting. AI is going to be connected to basically everything that has electricity. And I'd like to think it's all going to be good. We were talking last night, and they said, but can't you see that there's some good going to come out of this? Absolutely. Think about it. When Hollywood first came out, the movies were good, and they were clean movies, and they were sort of God-fearing movies. Remember Andy Griffith? Okay. Remember movies, and yeah, it was good. But then slowly, because the devil is the most subtle beast of the field, slowly it turned left and it turned dark. Just like when the internet came out. Why it was good, there was no, how do I say, shadow banning on it. There was no pulling and deleting of entire ministries. Matter of fact, they said that you can even upload the instructions on how to make a bomb and everything when the internet first started. But then slowly, it's turned darker and darker and darker. As a matter of fact, I think I've got some information on that. So if it's turning darker, is it going to control everything? That's our question today. Let me show you something. So we're going to start with a short 5-minute clip on robots.
Customer pilots directed almost 3,000 precision strikes last year. We're super proud of it. It allows you to separate the bad guys from the good. It's a big deal. But we have something much bigger. Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors. And just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents.
China's Unitree has just released the Unitree R1, a humanoid robot costing only $5,900 US. Suddenly, American and European robotics companies are sweating. Most of them are still valued at 5 to 6 digit prices. The R1 is designed to appeal to individual developers and early-stage research teams. Now more people have access to genuinely capable hardware previously unseen at the R1's price range. Make it cartwheel, do handstands, even get a custom paint coat. What do you think? Is this one more step towards robot butlers in everyone's households?
Comes in at just $5,900, which is unheard of for a humanoid. Not 5 figures, not research-only access. This thing is actually available for regular people. You can just go online and order it. That's a massive deal, so let's talk about it. Now let's start with what this robot actually does. The R1 isn't some flimsy demo bot that barely moves unless it's plugged into a lab wall. It walks, runs, balances, does cartwheels, flips onto its hands, and even throws in a kung fu kick if you ask nicely. And no, it's not controlled with complex scripts or hard coding. It uses real-time AI-powered voice recognition, has built-in cameras for visual input, and can hold basic conversations. There's even a remote control, so if it starts acting weird or a little too confident, you can shut it down instantly. And it's not small either. The R1 stands at 165 centimeters tall, about 5'5", and weighs 25 kilograms, or 55 pounds, so yeah, roughly the size of a teenager. But don't let that fool you, this isn't some lightweight toy. It's built with serious industrial-grade components, and it shows. Every part of it, from the actuators to the outer frame, is designed for strength, precision, and flexibility. It moves with balance and control, whether it's walking over uneven terrain, flipping midair, or popping back up after a fall. That kind of mobility comes from having 26 degrees of freedom, basically 26 fully functional joints distributed across its body. You've got movement in the ankles, knees, hips, waist, shoulders, elbows, wrists, neck, all individually controllable, which gives the robot a full range of motion that's eerily human. This is what allows it to pull off fluid movements instead of clunky, rigid motions you usually see in budget bots. In Unitree's own demos, the R1 is shown doing handstands, cartwheels, fast directional changes, and recovering from falls without external help. And these aren't pre-scripted animations. It's doing this dynamically with real-time motor feedback and balance control. That level of agility comes down to custom direct drive actuators developed in-house by Unitree, which allow for fast, accurate torque control without wasting energy or overheating. Powering all this is a lithium battery that gives you about 1 hour of runtime per charge.
See, that's the real weakness of all of these, is the runtime. But perhaps you heard that Tesla has now come out with a silver-ion battery. It weighs about 1/3 less than a lithium battery, holds 1/3 more, and it does not catch on fire. You can charge it like 10 times faster. Where an electric car today might take a couple of hours to charge, it charges in up to 80% in 5 minutes. And the average electrical battery on the average electrical car has 3,000 to 5,000 services. In other words, it charges that many times, 3,000 to 5,000 times. But the silver ion battery has 10 to 15,000 charges, meaning the silver ion battery that they're now putting in Teslas will outlast the car. So what do you do when your car's all worn out, but your battery is still good? That's what we're looking at. So that's the real thing that is missing, in my opinion, on these robots. Now, imagine a world where all of those robots, I mean, like the Terminator had a 120-year power supply in it. Try to imagine a time when all of those robots are all over the world and all controlled by not you. Oh, they sell it to you as you control it, and probably the day you take it out of the box, it does. But at what time AI, the super intelligence, the super AI, decides it's going to take it over? How'd you like to have robots like that, or drones like that, following people around, checking to see that they have the chip? Didn't we read a dream yesterday about a fellow that says that they're going to have these drones that follow people around and looking to see if they have the chip? If they don't have the chip, then they notify authorities and they continue to track that person until authorities arrive, and they take the mark or they lose their head. Didn't we read that yesterday? That's what I thought. What we're talking about here is this Unitree. This one is $21,000. But if they can spend $600 billion on a building to put data centers in to be able to track and monitor us, do you think they're going to be limited on money to track and find people that don't have the mark? I don't think so. My definition: it is a program that is sentient. Now, what is sentient? It is no longer programmed or limited or controlled by humans. It learns and has acquired all human and alien intelligence. At first, its goal was to just know everything and control everything. But Bible prophecy tells us that there's going to be an image to the beast. Now, we've all read this, but let me explain something. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those. See, right now, Americans tend to look at miracles and say, oh, he must be God, she must be a God, because there's miracles. But this says those miracles are going to deceive people that dwell on the earth, which he had power to do inside of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. Now, what's the beast? The reason the Bible calls the Antichrist as the beast because he's not made in the image of God. He's made in the image of the devil. Now, Jesus, genetically speaking, was half man, half God, right? Okay. So, since the devil doesn't do anything new, he just takes what God does and reverses it. That means that the Antichrist is probably half man, half alien. Probably. That's my guess, which is a good guess. But the image of the beast. Jason Meeks had a dream where he was shown that they are working on and near perfecting robots that are half human and half robot. And he said he saw that it was difficult to tell where robot left and where human started, or where human started and robot began in these units. And, of course, they're going to make them look like humans. So let's go on here. He deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do to the sight of the Antichrist, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. Now, in my opinion, that image to the beast is probably some kind of a clone, probably some kind of a half man, half computer, definitely tied into the AI, the superintelligence that is accessing everything in the world. And he had power to give life to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause. Now, speak and cause. Cause means you issue orders. Speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast, or not worship the AI image. And he causeth all, both should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark in the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that hath the understanding count the number of the beast, for as the number of a man is the number of 666. Now, no man might buy or sell. We've been saying for years that in order to bring that to the position to where no man might buy or sell, that means you have to get between the buyer and seller, between every purchase on the globe, correct? How do you do that? You can't do that with coins and paper. Can't do it. Can't do that with gold and silver. Only way that can happen is digital. We read another dream yesterday that talks about how this kid saw that his cell phone is going to be turning into a checkbook, and that's what people used to buy and sell with. Now, no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. So this AI system is basically to track, to find, to control, monitor everyone on the planet. And the basic idea, they aren't going to tell you yet, but is to be able to find every person and make them, you must take the mark. Now you remember, Henry Kissinger said, he who controls food controls continents. He who controls energy controls whole continents. But he who controls money can control the world. That's what they want to do. They want to control it. Revelation 14:9. This is what happens to the people that take the mark of the beast. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God that is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. Now hang on, what does that mean? When it says drink of the wine, I do not think that the fruit that Adam and Eve ate of was an apple. Apple appears in the King James Bible 8 times. Not one of them does it speak bad about an apple. But the word grape or grapevine or winepress or all of those sort of things, they appear like almost 400 times. In my opinion, when it says, shall drink with a wine of the wrath of God, wine is representative of sin. What got Noah into trouble? Wine. Matter of fact, if you go back and look through wine throughout the Old or the New Testament too, that's what got a lot of people in trouble. That and also their strong drink. So it's saying they, and the same shall drink of the sin which brings on the wrath of God, and it is poured out without mixture. Now what's without mixture? It means that you get the full boat. Torment. What's the word torment? Try to imagine yourself being thrown into a fire that's a big raging fire. I mean, everything except maybe your toenails would be burning and stinging and hurting. That's torment. Torment means every cell in your body is hurting all at the same time. But torment is you can't stop it. There's no escape. There's no repenting. You can't die. That's torment. Now, with that in mind, let's continue reading. Without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of the torment ascendeth up forever and ever. So how long does this torment last? Forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. Here is the patience. Now, that word patience in Revelation means don't quit. In the days ahead, those people that have to face the Antichrist, you're going to have a lot of patience. We all are. I think the people in this room, we're going to have a lot of patience, because there's going to be a time when we want to get out of the pain, want to get out of this difficulty. But it says, here's the patience. Here's the don't quit of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God of the faith of Jesus. Then jump to Revelation 16:2. And the first wind poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. A noisome and grievous sore on men which had the mark of the beast, upon them which worshipped his image. So those people that take the mark, it breaks out into a big sore. And the beast was slain, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before them, with which he had deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive in the lake of fire burning with brimstone. So the beast, the false prophet, and all people that take the mark of the beast are tossed into the lake that burns with fire and brimstone for all eternity, day and night, totally tormented. Then, 1,000 years later, Satan is loosed out of his kingdom, loosed out of his prison. He goes out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. And they went upon the breadth of the earth and compassed the camp of the saints about in the beloved city. And fire from God came down out of heaven and devoured them. That's that same morning star. Whew. So those people that get through, remember the Bible says, those that endure to the end shall be saved. That word saved is not saying that their name gets into the book of life. That's simply saying that they're saved from the wrath. They're saved from the morning star that goes down to the center of the earth, sets the foundations of the mountains on fire. The hills melt like wax at the presence of the Lord, of the whole earth. Every high place falls, every valley is filled in. The earth is turned into a nice round smooth ball, and there's no more sea. And when that morning star comes out, the sun, the moon, and the stars dissolve like smoke in a moment, at the twinkling of an eye of the last trump. In the twinkling of an eye at the last trump. That's what happens. That's the morning star. So it's talking about that those people that made it through the tribulation, but they didn't receive Jesus, but they didn't take the mark of the beast either. They are the corners, not harvested. So they don't get eternal life. They don't get their name put into the book of life, but they are allowed to live and go into the millennium. And they are allowed to live up to 1,000 years. At the end of the 1,000 years, as I quoted, Satan is loosed out of his prison. He goes out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them to battle. Then fire from God out of heaven comes down, and they're gone. Those are the people that we rule over for 1,000 years. Because when Jesus returns, let me back up and tell about the day of Armageddon. So the day of Armageddon is here. This is Armageddon. On that day, let me back up. Let me give you a brief overview. I'm going to cover this more tomorrow morning, but the next time Jesus returns, he returns here on first fruits. He resurrects 144,000 one-year-old Jewish boys, and they walk around for 50 days. About 3 or 4 days before the rapture, the everlasting gospel is preached. This is where the angel flies through the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to them that dwell on the earth, to every people, nation, language, and tongue. Saying in a loud voice, fear God and give glory unto him, for the hour is come, for the hour of his judgment has come. Worship him who made heaven, the earth, and the seas, and the fountains of waters. They don't even have to say the name Jesus. They just have to worship him that made the mountains, seas, and water. Then, On the day of Pentecost, we go to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And I'll skip a lot of this. We'll explain it more later. At the marriage supper of the Lamb, Jesus is crowned King of Kings and Lord of Lords. He comes forth and serves us. About 4 months later, then we go to the marriage. We get a white horse. We return with Jesus for Armageddon. For Armageddon, we come down here with him on a white horse. This is where he burns up all of the tares. This is where the sun, moon, and the stars all dissolve in a moment. This is when all of the sinners fall to the ground, a pile of ashes and bones. And he cleanses the earth. He totally cleanses the earth. The earth is made into a nice round smooth ball. The earth begins to shake. He arises to shake the earth terribly. Then for 10 days the earth shakes. Then at the atonement is where the dead in Christ show up. They are judged 5 days later from here to here. Then on Tabernacles, the New Jerusalem comes down. Now, let me go back to this. So there's 5 things we want to avoid. We do not want to worship the beast, that's the man, or his image, that's the half man, half computer, or the mark, the name, or the number. There's 5 things we cannot touch. We believe this is what the number of his name will look like, which is actually a 666 nested together. This is what we believe the mark of the beast looks like. I see the mark of the beast every place, something like that. Also the number of his name. And I've done whole hour-and-a-half DVDs just showing you places where these are around the globe in subtle places. We think this is what the mark of the beast is going to look like, something like that. It might not be exactly, but when it does come out, you're going to go, you'll recognize it immediately. This is what we believe the number of his name will look like. And it may be either one of those, or it may be one of them. We don't know, but we're not going to take either one of them. So we want to avoid those things. Here's why AI may be extremely dangerous, whether it's conscious or not. Now, the point I want to make here is this was an article I pulled from back in 2023. And he says, if we get it wrong, we may not live to tell the tale. This rapid acceleration promises to soon result in artificial general intelligence, AGI. That's the second level. And when that happens, AI will be able to improve itself with no human intervention. It will do this in the same way that, for example, Google's AlphaZero AI learned how to play chess better than even the very best human, or other AI chess players in just 9 hours from when it was first turned on. It achieved this feat by playing itself millions of times over. Now try to imagine an AI computer system that is already, I believe, already out there, and that's not up to the super intelligent level yet. I believe that actually we're already in the artificial general intelligence. In other words, it's already learning, it's already self-aware, it's already gathering every bit of information on the globe. Why do they want those big data centers? So that they can store all of the information, so they can track everything on the globe. That's what they want to do. He who controls food controls people. He who controls energy controls continents, but he who controls money can control the world.
So that concludes this particular program, but there's actually going to be several programs. But remember that even though I'm out of town in Honduras, it means we still need your financial support, probably more than ever, because we'll probably have expenses, it seems like we always do, that we hadn't accounted for. You know how that is. Things go wrong and everything costs more than what you plan. So if you could help us right now, that would be wonderful. And hopefully in another week or so, we'll be getting my book in and I'll be getting that out. And so if you can help us with that $12,000 to print the book, then I'll send you a personally autographed copy of not just one book. I'll send you 10, actually. One of them will be your autographed copy. If you send a gift of $500 or more to help with the printing. And also, there was an extra surprise expense of $10,000 extra for the Honduras tour that sprang upon us a couple of days before we left. Actually, a couple of weeks, but still, if you can help, if God is blessing you, you can help. We would really appreciate it. God bless.